William, hopefully your favorite videographer from Two Hats Publishing. I welcome you to another Two Hats special of community events. Let's look in and see what's really happening.
Well, that's 6:35. We want to go ahead and get started.
I know Major Economic Food was going to just a minute late, so I don't want to take up any more.
We'll give it a few more minutes in and see if we can get some track here. I'll start at 6.
I didn't
think a lot of people realize yours tonight.
Is there nothing else today? I didn't do nothing. So the minute next week is out when you have to change it. Well, it's not the holidays. That's a good reason. Then it brings the date for January, so we're set that on the calendar now. Given that information, I guess you should.
This guy.
Okay. Sure, well, let's go ahead and get started then. Hello, everybody. I have to wish you all a very good police officer for downtown. Thank you all for having us here tonight. I would like to start off with presenting a few crime statistics, then discuss some of the outstanding arrests that we've also made, look at some crime prevention, personal crime prevention, as well as theft crime prevention, since we're going to be doing some shopping, leaving our belongings in our vehicle, make sure we're not having any of our property taken. So to kind of just again give you an overview of what we do downtown CBD, we're 24 hours, we have 3 watches, we have our sergeant here with us, this is Sergeant Browning, she's from the second watch downtown with us. And we have a sort of dedicated narcotics unit. We have officers that are assigned each shift to the farmer's market and to the West End. We have a bait car coordinator who puts out decoy items as well as vehicles in different locations where we're maybe having some problematic areas to sort of act as a deterrent. We have all these types of proactive measures that we're actively doing to try to suppress and prevent crime. As far as felony warrants, downtown CBD officers have arrested 163 people on felony warrants, 194 different felony warrants, so some of these folks have more than one warrant. So we're actively doing that as well. So let me get into some of the core statistics that we have for downtown, and I'm not going to drill you with these numbers, but I'm going to kind of hit some of the highlights here. And if anyone is ever interested in these, as always, you can just shoot me an email. I can send these out to you. Many of you are already on my email list, so you're getting these crime statistics each month anyway. So as far as aggravated assaults, from January 1 to, this is from October 31st, so we don't have that yet. 56 total, 18, a difference of 6 from this time last year. We look at sex crimes, rape in particular, it's actually saying that we've had 10, which is identical to this time last year, so a 0 difference there. Simple assaults, we're down 37, 261 this year compared to 298 last year. And when we look at overall personal crime, these types of rapes, assaults, murders, etc., for our overall for the year, we're down 39% from last year. So that's a nice decline from 2017. When we're looking at some of our property crimes, what drives our property crimes, particularly this time of year, are burglaries of motor vehicles. And we're actually up 134 from this time last year, 387 compared to 253. Business burglaries were down 14, 36 compared to 50 from last year. Residential burglaries up 2, 26 this year compared to 24 this time last year. Stolen vehicles up 35, 137 for the year so far compared to 102. And when we look at our overall property crimes, again, we're up 182 offenses compared to this time last year. Again, what drives a lot of these property crimes are our B&Bs, our thefts from vehicles. And we are aware of the property crimes and the burglaries from vehicles, DPD, as I mentioned, we started, we put out these big vehicles, decoy vehicles. These vehicles are oftentimes placed around areas where we're having problematic spots. They'll put items in the vehicles, anything from a briefcase, a laptop, cigarettes, shoes, tools. These things are all tracked with GPS sensors. And when someone picks them up, takes them, we're able to track these people. And many times these are repeat offenders. So when we can get this one or two individuals that are doing this, this can cut a significant chunk of these thefts down, because these are some of the repeat offenders who are doing these DMVs. And I'm going to circle back to the big did. Tell you a good story about it. When we look at the month comparison, again, I don't want to hammer numbers at you, but just to tell you, from September to October, personal crime was down 24%, property crime was down 2%. So we're seeing a nice trend there as we shift downwards from September to October. If we want to just look at some numbers from the farmers market in particular, this is the area where we are right now. When we look at the personal crimes, again, rapes, assaults, simple assaults, we're up 5 for the year in the farmers market, 90 now compared to 85. We look at property crimes, up 53, 209 from 156. But again, similar to what we see with the overall CPD core crime stats, we look at farmers market crime stats from September to October, we're seeing a decline. We're seeing a minus 10 from 3 of our personal crimes from October compared to 13 in September, and then 29 property crimes compared to 37 from September compared to October. So we're looking good as far as the direction that we're headed, both for CPD core as well as for farmers market in particular. It's not all doom and gloom with the increased number of crimes. I wanted to highlight some of our significant arrests that our CPD officers have been making downtown. I mentioned the bait cars. Just last week, one was activated not too far from here. A guy picked some tools out of the bait car, got into a separate vehicle. They were able to track the tools in the vehicle that he was in. Officers were able to locate this guy, got him out of the car, found the tools. Turns out he was in a stolen vehicle also. So they were able to take him into custody, charge him with the theft for the bait crimes and the bait car tools, as well as the UUMV, the stolen vehicle. So that's a success story there. We were able to get some folks. One of our hot spots is in and around the area of the Greyhound, so 205 South Lamar. This past week we had an arrest there, possession of controlled substance. This person had cocaine, heroin, Xanax pills, all in their possession. And what we're able to do, because of the location of this arrest, it's near El Centro College, we're able to enhance this charge. So because it's in a drug-free zone, we can make this a more serious charge. So that's nice that we can do that as well. And over at, this was at around 900 Pacific, so kind of still in the West End area, kind of by the dark train, bus stop area. 2 of our officers saw somebody crossing the street out of the crosswalk. Okay, so that's the reason for contact. They went and talked to this guy. Turns out he had first-degree felony fraud, unique identifiers. He had 46 different credit cards with different names on them. He also was in possession of a social security card, a passport, and 5 Texas driver's licenses. So we were able to charge this guy with, again, felony, first degree, possessing of these unique identifiers, doing identity theft and other types of financial fraud. So these are some of the good arrests that we've been making. We're working hard. We're out of the West End. We're out of the farmers market. There's been an issue lately in the farmers market with some plants that have been taken off of some of the townhomes in these nice big vases. Well, we're working diligently with that, and again, we've got officers assigned to the farmers market who are out there doing extra patrols. We've got bike officers who are out there assigned there as well. We're even right now working on putting some type of tracking device in these potted plants. so that when they're picked up and they're moved, we can track the location. These people that are being victimized, they have these doorbell cameras, and we've got photos of this guy, and it appears to be the same guy who's doing this. So if we can get this guy with one of these plants, we can probably tie him to many of these other plants that have been missing as well. So these are some of the proactive things that we're doing downtown, working with some of the issues and challenges that we have. So those are the crime stats. Any questions on those? Sir?
What about the Cedars?
I don't have the Cedars. The Cedars officers, I'm not sure where they are.
Okay. We had 3 shootings, Cesar Chavez, Seeger, and Hickory last month, so we'd be interested in that. We've also had multiple stabbings up and down Cesar Chavez. I believe Wayne had 1 death last month, is that correct? So there was 1. We've got a lot of activity on that corner of Corinth and Cesar Chavez.
Yes, sir.
I know the community courts, not community courts, the prosecutor's office is out there working that
I'm listening.
that corner. But I'm not kidding, we had 36 gentlemen on that property, and that's a drive-through drug stand over there. So I'm not sure when they do the drive-throughs over there, I don't know if they can park the top car over there for some extended period. We've asked for crows, as far as that goes. I'm sure none of this is new. That corner over there is basically a hot spot for drugs.
Right. I'll get in touch with our coordinator and see if they can get something out there pretty quick, and that might help.
Just disrupt or go down to Seeger. There's a little street called Seeger back there.
Yes, sir.
They hang out there, and they hang out on that property right there in the corner. I think it's 2050 corner.
Okay.
And the other thing I wanted to ask, if I may, is Central, they had the dashboard for the presentation by the chief on Tuesday, and they presented a dashboard, and they were talking about Central. Our crime is up like 5.5 per person. Let me get you this. Sure. It looks like overall for year to date, our crime is up like 14.45. So if you look at the drugs, if you look at the stats by division, it's a little bit different than the CBD. And so there's been a couple of initiatives in downtown where they've been basically trying to get some of the homeless off the street. It may be pushing people over into other neighborhoods around the central area.
Unfortunately, that's what we see many times, is it just becomes displaced.
We see, well, most of the rest of the Cedars is fine. It's at Cesar Chavez corridor, all the way from when they walk behind the Dallas here to Trillage. There's a footpath back there. They will see them do that all the time. They cross over, they go to Cesar Chavez, and they go down to that corner right down there. So,
Okay, I'll see if I can reach out to my central colleagues and perhaps they'll be able to
and then,
help address that.
the NPO.
Yes, sir.
But that's what Chief Hall was presenting on Tuesday, so it's a little bit different than what we're hearing.
Okay. What I'm telling you are the crime stats for the downtown area, and the Cedars will have their own crime stats, they'll have their own issues and challenges as well that I'm not necessarily as familiar with, but we can certainly look into and certainly address those issues.
Last month, we had T.C. Brodnick and John Fortune and Nadia, we had requested e-citation training and/or initiatives go on. And I know Diane Gibson, was she here?
I'm glad you brought that up because I actually have some information on the citation here with me. For the entire year right now, we have issued 99 V citations. And these, of course, are for sleeping in public, for urinating in public, alcohol violations, those types of things. And in the last 30 days, we've issued 7 of these V citations. So they're being used, they're being utilized in the areas, and they go to the community courts where they can do service for them instead of being taken to jail. It's a revolving door, essentially, in jail.
And
work these off.
The chief back there, you said that they were doing training on the e-citation program, and they were...
Right.
Yeah.
So they get we had the community force come out to the station, CBD and Central, and they were training all of us on how it's used, when it's used, what the benefits are. So we're trying to get our officers used to using the order citation, the B citation. And, you know, 7 is not a lot, but it is something, and we're moving in that direction. We're going to try to put on just a kind of a marketing campaign from the supervisors of, hey, you know, keep it fresh in your mind, keep it top of mind so that we can keep adding to those numbers.
And it's one point of entry. Why it's important to the community, it's one point of entry in services.
Yeah, no, I was here at that meeting, and I see the benefit 100%. And, you know, it's my job to get the officers to buy into that, and that's what I'm doing.
Thank you. That's enough.
Yes, sir.
You don't have anything on decal, do you?
No, sir.
Okay, Officer LeBron, he does forward those stats to us. We appreciate that. We've seen the difference that controls that happen. But we've got it really bad with BMVs over the last 2 months. I know you mentioned that down here in the CBD as well, but if we could get some kind of special attention south of Canton, and normally it's, you know, obviously on the weekend nights where we're getting hit the most, people will park their cars so south of Canton, intersection around Taylor Street underneath I believe it's the 30 there, and every weekend people are getting their cars and getting broken into. The lighting it's not that good over there. We advise people not to park over there, and we talked to Tech Dot about, they have lighting, but it's just the lights are not on. But it's just a light area for, last month we had 15 BMVs. One of the officers and one of the patrol officers in the area did recover a stolen vehicle, which was great, and all 3 officers, they did that as well on Good Ladder. But the BMVs are really, they, you know, said this last quarter of the year, right, they hit. We get some special attention.
Well, you can probably speak on this, but I know that at one point they have had initiatives where they'll have a dozen or so officers that are assigned out there for Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. They're out there and they're proactive.
Yeah, those guys are doing a great job. The sheriff officers are doing a great job. We have off-duty officers, and we appreciate it. I mean, according to the crime stats, you know, overall crime has gone down 30%, and that's great. You know, we've seen less assault, we've seen less burglaries, and you know, our community watch, our development community watch, which Rain is part of, is done an outstanding job with extra set of eyes and helps everyone in the community. We had an incident just recently where a gentleman was making threats online, and they were able to get, you know, that guy, you know, mental health help that he needed. So if you guys are doing a great job, I have no complaints as far as the development foundation is concerned. It's just you know, when I look at the stats every month, the BMVs, you know, just put right in there with the Russians. And, you know, obviously those are patrons that like to come to, you know, the restaurants and the bars and whatnot. And then when their cars get broken into, it's just one of those things they feel bad, you know, may not want to come back.
And that's a great segue to what we're trying to stretch right now is the take block high. It's a simple BMV prevention technique where we want to get this word out to as many people as possible, and you pass it on to your guests and residents and everyone else, you know, that you come across. And it's just simple, and I'll say this every time that we meet, but it's always good to be reminded about it. Don't leave things in your vehicle, you know? Lock your car when you go. Chirp it a couple times, pull on the door handles, and make sure that it's locked. When you leave $2 in loose change in your center console, to you that's just a couple quarters of nickels. Someone walking by, they see that's a beer. So they might grab a rock next to it, they smash your window, they take your $2 in change out, you know, it's $2 in change. You would not become a big headache if you have a broken window that you have to do. So don't even leave little things like that you think are insignificant, because you know, someone else sees something different, and it's $2 in loose change. So take everything out that you can. If you can't remove it, at least put it in the center console, or put it in the glove box, or put it under your seat. At the very minimum, put a blanket or something over it so that it's not visible. Because a lot of these folks are just opportunists. They just walk by, they pull on door handles, they see what's unlocked, and they get in there and they just ramshackle this in the car, and they take things, and then they go on to the next car. If they see something valuable in the car, they might break the window. So when you leave a purse in there, you leave a laptop in there, you leave something of importance in there, if they see that, they're going to take that. So you take a lot of time.
The last thing I'll say is, it's going to my understanding, I think the lights units will start back up soon. And if that would be one of their focuses, the ELP issue.
My understanding is the device is going to focus on prostitution, gambling, and perhaps some narcotic activity.
Well, I just wanted to add a couple of things to, I guess, clarify even some of the questions, particularly when we start talking about crime stats and you start looking at, roll-ups for the total of, Central's up X amount. You really have to dig into it and understand, where that comes from. When you start looking at crime stats and they put up, say, public safety, you'll always see it's broken down by violent crime and then your property crimes. And so when I look at the central violent crimes, and I've got this report was ran Sunday, the 25th. Yeah, it shows to be up a total of 3.4%. Okay, when you look at the hard numbers, that's 32. That's an increase of 32 offenses when you're looking at almost 11 full months of this year versus 11 full months of last year. Okay? So for the police department and police officers, one crime is too many. I mean, but we're dedicated our life to trying to prevent crimes. And so I'm not trying to downplay a 32 count increase because it's bad for us, but I want to make sure we put that in context of what we're talking about. And when you look at that, we actually had an increase of 20 assault offenses that were associated with family violence. And so as this area is becoming a very popular place, for people to live, we all see the construction that's going on, more and more people are coming down. So there's going to be, unfortunately, we will see an increase of family violence as the residential community down here increases. The more people that live here, that's just going to happen, unfortunately, just like getting more traffic. So I want y'all to be aware of that. Again, we've had some decreases in some other places. The ones that bother me is, again, I think early on this year, we had some issues with robbery down in development. So we're still fighting some robbery increases, both of us, an individual and as a business. But I think we've done a much better job.
Yeah, they've really gone down,
Yeah, and that really is due to cooperation between the business owners and the people in development and the extra officers been put down there. So I want to kind of put that in perspective. Now, property crime, and this is what really kills central stats, is both stolen cars and burglary motor vehicles. Exactly what you're talking about. So when you start looking at the nonviolent crimes, central is up, sorry, the light's a little bad, is up 667 compared to the same 11 months last year. Of that, 229 are stolen cars increased and 406 are B&Bs. Unfortunately, when you start looking at the city as a whole, the UUMVs is way up over last year. It's not a central phenomenon. It's a city of Dallas, and it's not just city of Dallas. I talked to one of the officers at headquarters the other day where they have regional meetings. There's a regional issue with stolen cars. A lot of the B&Bs that we're seeing is some is what you're talking about, where people are leaving things that are inside, but some of it is also, and I think we talked about this before, with so much construction going on, you have workers that are down here, their whole livelihood's in their truck, they leave pieces of equipment, and where that stuff ends up being stolen. So those are issues. We've sent our NPOs out to talk to foremen, other people, remind people not to leave that stuff visible, because that really is, those are crimes of opportunity, or people know, hey, look, I'm going to cut concrete or whatever. I know people are going to have this stuff down here, and they come to these work sites, find what they're looking for, and make it there. So, again, I'm not trying to downplay it. I'm just wanting y'all to understand this is some of what's at play. So, unfortunately, also, man, I've been down in Deep Ellum on Fridays and Saturday nights. It's back where it's been booming, you know, during the summer. A lot more people. Again, you have 100 cars, you get one break-in. You got 1,000 cars, you're gonna get 10 or 20, you know. So I think that's what we're seeing as a byproduct of your success that's going on down there. And that's what we're trying to keep up with it. I was talking to Major Arredondo, and he was telling me they've been putting some officers down there Fridays and Saturday nights specifically to deal with the B&Bs that you're talking about in that area. Yeah, those things are happening. The other thing that I really want to drive home to y'all is the response times for Central Patrol. And I'm going to talk about the division as a whole. Y'all have the best response times in the city. Of all 7 patrol divisions, Central has the best. And I'm going to say for our emergency calls, and I didn't look at everything else, but for emergency calls, the lights and siren calls, the city's goal for us is 8 minutes, we're below that. And it's the first watch and third watch, both are below that. Second watch is like 15 seconds, it's 8 minutes and 15 seconds. So we're a little bit above the goal. However, we're doing about 20 seconds better than the same period last year. So we're making improvements in that, and we continue. That's been a very big goal for the department to get those response times down on those emergency, those lights and siren calls when, you know, it's life and death. So I want y'all to be aware what these guys are out here accomplishing day in and day out. And this isn't a flash in the pan. This is 11 months worth of data for emergency call response. So I just wanted y'all to know and take as much pride as I do in what these officers have been able to accomplish, given staffing, given the increased traffic, given everything else that's going on, what they've been doing. Finally, I don't know if y'all saw the 2 mic officers parked out front. So I took a couple of minutes before I walked in, just speaking to them about, you know, how they're doing, you know, the typical stuff. And they actually had been working on some narcotic stuff lately. One of the things they told me, again, this is more of an anecdotal story, but they work down here around the various DART bus stops, working alongside with DART, but they really focus on K2. And what they were saying is, and they noticed in the last month or so that they have not been seeing a lot of K2. They've seen a significant reduction in that hand-to-hand transactions and even finding. They can still find your marijuana and some of your other drugs, but they haven't been finding the same amount of K2. Again, I can't totally explain all of that. Some of it could have a delivery problem. I'd like to think a lot of it.
Chief, I can answer that, and a lot of that's due to the CBD unit and your narcotics unit. We're actually talking to DFR, DPD, and what we've been Safe Patrol, we're seeing a 50% reduction. It's been huge.
Well, and
so y'all doing a great job.
And he's being modest also because the Downtown Safety Patrol is playing a role, and not only that, they play a role in our response times, the DEI support, because they do take care of things that people may have called the police for otherwise that would have taken a resource to make it where we couldn't have got to an emergency call, a robbery in progress, a man with a gun, you know. And yet I really can't say enough about the partnerships that I have seen working around Central and CBD, again, Safety Patrol, DDI, the stuff I've seen down in Deep Ellum really has made a huge difference in what we've been able to accomplish.
And throw DART too.
So anyway, we had, no, absolutely, DART, and I apologize for the oversight, and, you know, it's kind of, but yes, I think what we're seeing are improvements. We clearly have places we need to continue to focus on, but yeah, the response times really is a big deal, and I want y'all to be aware of it, because I've seen some stuff in the media lately that, the response times are terrible, or there's not this, there's not that. And what I'm going to tell you that, I've heard someone specifically about Central saying, hey, there's not enough officers. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, when some of that, they're not even looking at CBD. They're not counting CBD officers. You know, there's CBD that are officed out of headquarters. They have their own details. They have their own staffing. And you have Central proper. And if we're looking to make some splash with media, so they say, well, there's only so many officers in Central. Well, that's not exactly true. They don't count any of those. They don't necessarily count officers that are on working from the previous watch. So I ask, as you see some of this stuff, take it with a grain of salt and know, look, and I've got the numbers. You've got the best response times in the city for emergency calls, or not. The best. So, with that being said, does anybody have any questions that I may be able to help you with?
I got a question about obstacles, that I understand that wildlife and all those obstacles are away. Are we going to have that big obstacles? Because I understand some of them are being verbalized again. Some big, can we get that? Like in the Oakland area, I understand some of them.
So you see an increase in bike
And I'm wondering, I saw someone that their bike got stolen, so I'm kind of concerned about that here.
Okay.
Since they have downside, I was wondering if we, I'm kind of wondering if that's going to go up again.
Okay, well, and that's good. So, I have Central, there's officers that are assigned that what they do is look at crime every day, looking for trends like that. So we know, okay, we need to put out the bait bites, to try to nab anybody that's starting to lean toward stealing bicycles. Obviously, when we had, really 100 bicycles in every corner, that really wasn't the problem. There was plenty to steal that didn't belong to anybody. So now, you're right, there's a possibility we may see an increase in that, but I know there's still a lot of those, public use bikes still hanging around there. And we've seen some used in offenses, usually some type of a plant burglary, looks like it drove off on one of the old mill bikes.
Yeah, they're paying, no, but I'm concerned because personally, I had 5 personally stolen.
Okay.
Long time ago,
Okay.
like wow, just being
Well,
rapid.
okay, and we'll keep an eye out. I'll make a special note to look for any kind of trends in bicycle guys. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm intrigued about something you shared, which was, this benefited you, the drug arrest at Greyhound, and because it's proximity to Central. So if there's an arrest, because sometimes we have the entrepreneurial set who like to cruise Elm Street, between Stubblefield and Providence, and along Providence between Reno's, going over to Main Street, to sell drugs. Is it possible that when if an arrest is done in that area, because of the proximity to charter high school, that charge can be increased, enhanced? Like what happened with the Stone Central Greyhound situation?
Right, so the officers can add that charge on if they find drugs, and it's got to be within a certain range from the schools where the arrest is made. So what they're actually doing is being on Google Maps, and they're looking at how many feet exactly it is, and then they go to the statute to see what is the actual range that they can be within. So yes, they're aware that they're a school. They may not even notice that school's there because it may blend in, I don't know.
Well, yeah, but that's right across the street from 7-Eleven, that's that track.
Right.
The track goes.
So if they're aware that there is some type of school there, they can certainly change that charge if it's within that range.
And we'll make a note to make sure people in our details, just a reminder, hey, this is where this charter school is. We already have some of these drug issues, and if we can enhance them, obviously.
Perfect, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you guys for it. Yeah, drug dealer on Commerce, just, back and forth. Couldn't catch up with the guy, but you guys were able to catch up with him. He had a probation violation, and he had cocaine on him. And you guys were going to lock him up last week. Not Thanksgiving weekend, but the weekend before that. So we appreciate you guys getting that guy on the street.
So he's already got the probation violation, and then he gets struck, so that's an additional charge, and he'll get even more.
Appreciate that.
Anything else we can discuss or address with you while we're all here?
And just to add, fortunately, I don't know if everybody knows Major Arredondo. We're actually doing two things. He's sending me stuff as reminders. So if it looks like I'm on my A game, I assure you, I'm probably on D or F. The man's keeping me honest back there, so I want to make sure I give him his props. But he wanted to make sure one of the other things, the city has a number of, decoy vehicles, obviously. It's not like we go out and advertise, hey, the car you may be stealing is one of ours, or some of the fake items that are in them. So he sent me the total number of arrests off fake cars, fake items, stuff for Central, and it was 31. So that's here today, that's not bad. The city total's got 196. So I know we have officers dedicated, both the main Central as well as CBD, that are out rotating cars and fake every week. Trying to, we're having issues putting that stuff out there, trying to see if somebody that's out there doing it takes advantage of the stuff we've left so we can make those arrests. Just so you know.
And one point is, usually we make one of those arrests, detectives will work to tie them to others, and we're very successful most times in tying them to multiple offenses. So while it shows 31, I think it could clear numerous cases.
One of the things I think we ought to remind everybody, and if you have ties to social media, your crime watches, and all your other stuff, is as we roll into the holiday season, all that's going to happen is people are going to start getting more and more packages on their front doors, on their stoops, things of that nature. And we're going to see, unfortunately, the thefts that are associated with that. Please be mindful of that. If there's special instructions where they can be left in either apartment offices, a friend's house, somebody that's going to be there to take that package, or, I know they have delivery services where they can get it into certain cars if you have certain functions so they can get it into your trunk at work. Whatever it takes not to leave that big Amazon box, or that Hewlett-Packard box sitting on your front door will help us and you out tremendously in having a happy holiday season. So that's just a general reminder, because we know it's coming, and we've already seen some of it. It's going to be a lot more prevalent, as always. Hopefully, a lot of doorbell stuff from the cameras, dissuade some people from still happening. Other questions?
How many ACALs in CBD, farmers market, or seizures are you guys seeing? Are you seeing it dropping? Are you seeing it increasing? Mental health arrests?
It fluctuates. I don't have those numbers in front of me, but I do look at it. In some weeks we'll have a dozen, the next week we'll have 2. And so it's really hard to say, and particularly this time of year, sometimes these APALs are people who aren't able to get into shelters. They know the buzzwords to say, so it's not a true mental health emergency per se.
The reason why I'm asking is the pilot down in South Central is coming to an end here shortly. And we're looking for numbers that would justify trying to get sent home.
You're
For the right care.
The care team right here. I don't know the details of the right care team.
Can somebody help?
I will look into that. Hi, everybody. My name is Sergeant Laura Browning. I just transferred to the Central Business District. I just want to introduce myself really quickly. And if you guys, I don't have business cards. They haven't come in yet. But if you have a pen, I'd like to give you my email address. And one of the things because I have some experience in working as an NPO, and one of the things that I think that we can do is help you navigate your city resources. For example, you're talking about the lot. That's really blight. And we're really good at catching the bad guys. We're not so good on our own at just curing the blight. So, we bring in things like code enforcement, our community prosecutors. We reach out to landowners, business owners. Some of these guys are out of state, and I'm sure you know they're difficult to get a hold of. So sometimes bringing in court action helps. And facilitating with something like that, right care team is really going to be helpful to us. I think having it at Central would be a true gift. So I would like to see that come. I don't know if that's possible.
It's got some visibility with Fortune, with
Yes.
John Fortune, and at the Corn level, Senator Corn.
Yes, and I had the benefit of going, I was really happy to go to a meeting that I recognized you from, and then I recognized you from a couple of weeks ago, and it was talking about the homeless population. And I think that community, the people who serve that community do an amazing job of pooling all those resources and putting everyone in touch with one another. So I will definitely look into that, but my email address is Laura, Laura, .Browning, BROWNING, @DallasCityHall.com. I don't have anything special to add, but I would like to throw this little challenge out to you to the next meeting. Try to bring some people with you. To your business owners, your coworkers, even if they're people that work downtown. I'd love for them to get to network with you guys, share what they see, get to know us a little bit better, and hopefully we'll have a larger meeting the next time.
Part of what's going on is people taking some time off. We had about 40 or 50 people at the last one when we met with Rodney.
Oh, good, okay, and this is the first one official meeting that I've attended here. I worked with a neighborhood police officer in the Northeast Division, and I was the supervisor at the Southwest Division, and I also worked in the chief's office when we had a community engagement bureau. So I am familiar with lots of the resources, but they constantly change, and I know that you guys sometimes know what's coming and going faster or better than I do. So please feel free to email me or Officer Nally here if you have any questions, or there's something that you feel needs some special attention. And I'll look into that and I'll get back with you.
And I think what goes with that is, if you want numbers, particularly for something, we usually have crime stat numbers, response times numbers and stuff, but if you're starting to get into some pretty specific type, I want to know how many BMV arrests were made on X street or this geographic area, send that to us before the meeting, give us 2 or 3 days to make sure we can get all that pulled up, so we can have it for you here.
You can look at the data portal, but there's some intuitive or some business intelligence that goes along with that. For example, those numbers I was showing you from Central, and then you came back with an explanation. So I'm trying to do that with this thing before we meet with Warren.
Okay. Yeah, that was just, like, the numbers, he had some, fortunately, he'd been looking at it and kind of give you some anecdotal, but had he known the question was coming, he could have came with specifics. Here's what it looks like when we get more Fridays than Tuesdays. We get,
I'm not sure if he's familiar with the Cedars, so maybe that's what we do. We'll send it beforehand or have it prepared. We had all the questions prepared at the last meeting for Brodnick and his team as far as that goes. If that's what you want to do now, we'll start doing it the day before.
yeah, it just makes it easier to make sure we can answer your question here first. We're always going to do, hey, I don't know this, I'll get you the answer. But if you already know the question, but often, a lot of times, the answer causes more questions, and you'll still have questions when we come here. That's fine. We'll still get you the answers. But if you already know, hey, I've got this certain number of questions, if we know, we'll make sure we have the answer for you.
Can Martin Kramer talk a little bit about his pilot program that's going on right now?
Yeah, sure. Is there anybody here from downtown, or is it all Cedars and developed, pretty much? No.
I work downtown.
Okay. Yeah, I used to live downtown. No, what we started 3 months ago at the request of Dallas Parks was mainly because they had an overnight sleeping problem in Philo Garden, Pegasus Plaza, Main Street Garden. And they were going to hire, not to take away any money from DPD, but they're going to hire a bunch of off-duty guys. And we said, look, we'll step up and we will hire off-duty Dallas officers and bridge case workers, state patrol, and then a cleanup team with trucks to pick up trash. So what's happened in the last little over 60 days is we've engaged over 2,000 people working with DPD and our caseworkers from Bridge between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. And they've transported 320 people to shelters, and we've sent home 150 people on buses to their home states. That's downtown, but what I can tell you on the Cedars, the issue you've got over there at Irving and St. Paul, when we go out in the morning at 5 a.m. with DPD, we don't see a lot of folks being pushed into Cedars. there's a few on Irving, but not, most of what we're encountering is they're engaged, they're offered immediate transport to the bridge, Austin Street Shelter. They can get breakfast, they can get in there. I don't have the total numbers, but I believe 40 of them are now in bridge services. And it's more of it's less of an enforcement, it's more of an engagement process.
As you're teaching these individuals things that what they're doing is they're going to the other side of Dallas Heritage Village, and now they're going down to Caesar Chavez. Because we've been getting up 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning and going out there and watching what's going on as far as that goes. Then our calling wait opens up around 8:30, 9 o'clock, and some of them are going there, some are going to the bridge. But it's not as bad as what we expected or anticipated. So that was the feedback I get in Courtney before.
Yeah, and our goal is not to just push them somewhere. Our goal is working with our calling and the other 7 shelters and just props to Wayne is they do a monthly shelter meeting with 7 different shelters, OHS and all these other entities. And our goal is to get these folks not moving around, but hey, would you like breakfast this morning? Would you like to go to the bridge? If that doesn't work, Boston Street Shelter. And again, DVD's right there with us. We take them along on these 2, I forget what the numbers were, we picked up, I forget how many thousands of pounds of trash, especially around the holidays, Thanksgiving. I mean, you wouldn't believe the amount of garbage we picked up and down Irving and around the bridge.
We have to use augers, and
It's huge.
we have to use augers to clean out the sewers every spring and every fall.
Yeah.
With the amount of styrofoam that we have.
But you've got my email. If you feel like any of that's moving your way, let us know, because we can also, we can't go outside south of I-30, but we can, we haven't really worked that, I don't think we've done much on the Caesar Chavez area. We're more focused on Irving, St. Paul, downtown parks. This morning's a good example. It was, or not this morning, yesterday was a good example. It was freezing. It was 32 degrees in the morning when we went out. Still had 50 people being encountered. Predominantly around the bridge in St. Paul, there was 10, and then we had over almost 30 at Irving and I-30.
And they're driving up tonight, there's probably about a dozen of them coming up.
And let me tell you why they're there at Irving and I-30, because people are there every night dropping off food, sleeping bags, cots. It's all branded from Academy. It's amazing the amount of stuff that's dropped off over there by that new high school, City Lab. But again, it's a partnership with, and I'll mention Dark too, we partner with them. I'll let them out that I think they like to go profile. So. But we work with them too on some of the homeless individuals that are riding the rail all night long.
And that part of the Cedars, Irving, St. Paul, are better. It's that whole Caesar Chavez corn thing, and that's been a problem for a long time, but it's gotten increasingly worse. There's a brown van that's always over there. He's a drug dealer. We've seen him. It's the reason why we can just get a cop car at the park over there.
Yeah.
Jeanette knows this stuff, so your MPO down there, Jeff LaBarbera knows if they see it. It's very obvious what they're doing because they're handing out little packets like that. So
I can tell you, downtown is amazing, and I'm not just basing it on DPD stats. I mean, Dallas Fire and Rescue, they used to run 3 ambulances, 1 on overtime, 2 regular, 18 and 3. They cut their, I was in a meeting, I guess it was on Tuesday, you know, see the drop in paramedic calls, just based on the drop in
well, we could really drive home the cost for each one of these incidents to show up. In-house cost, $3,000 a pop. You start multiplying that, and you're into like $18 million in 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
And it's dropping. The amount that costs to get one cop cruiser with their $16,000 worth of aftermarket IT on there to show up to do some type of incident run around the bridge. Resources can be better allocated.
And we've got a great partnership with the bridge and their security team, and a lot of that's paid off. And even First Presbyterian Church, it's amazing. The last 3 months, we're counting less than 5 people around the stew pot. It used to be 30, 40. They've gone somewhere. I'll tell you where a lot of them went is over there at Carpenter Park, on the I-45, more on the east side. I can tell you why. Most of the property owners now, Plaza Americas, Chase Tower, and Tremco Center are complaining because a lot of that crowd has moved over to the east side. But the cold weather, we've seen that huge drop in homeless activity. Probably pick up again maybe till March.
And just out of curiosity, are you seeing any more activity for pill mills around the bridge? Or is there,
You know, I'd have to defer to the bridge contact up here in the back. He might know Bill Mills, some of those positions that sign up.
that's why we hit a $375 million fill mill. They were operating, or the recruiters were actually inside the bridge at the big cable recruiting, according to court transcript. As late as last January, Tanya Eisner was out there at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, across the street or around the street where that, I can't think of the name of the street right there. Corsicana, I guess it is right there. And they were recruiting from there, and she caught it on camera, and then followed them over to the tow mills, various parts of the state. What we've been noticing, or what we've been seeing over the last 5 years, is we see these trucks, or these vans, white vans, going through the neighborhood, not even with the temporary tag, but no tags on it. So we started calling. Heard a conversation outside of the library between the homeless one day, and then reported that, and that was the tow mills. So what we're seeing is they're over by Cesar Chavez, they're moving over towards that side of town, or that side of 345.
Yeah, I'm not sure you've seen that much around the bridge anymore.
Mr. Bennett, I just wanted to, I wanted to say something, and I know you guys you regularly attend crime watch meetings, so I'm sure you've heard this a million times. But I want to address that K2 decrease very specifically. Probably 6 weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago, our narcotics division, along with officers from Central and CBD, basically shut down an entire apartment complex. Okay, one of those smaller ones, all right? They knew to go there because they were getting so many phone calls, 911 calls with specific information at that address, and they were making arrests at that address. So they were able to collectively come together and use these resources. So what I say at every crime watch meeting, and it is the simplest thing, I want people to always call 911, always give them at least your first name and say, I want to be contacted by the officer. Because you know what, unanimous or anonymous calls get, we don't have a complainant. And you see a suspicious person, but I don't have a complainant, and I see this person and he's merely walking down the street, I have nothing. So, please tell your neighbors and your neighbor businesses, call 911. You can ask them to call you at least by phone. It's very important that we get that.
The opportunity is we've been doing that for 10 years.
Yes.
And so this has been much more effective going out to Mr. Brodnick, going to our city managers, our city leaders, going to our
Just for
community
that officer
prosecutors.
that does respond, to make that arrest, it's for that guy, it's the person who responds to that call, so he knows exactly we're getting
I
something.
guarantee you there's an active call on that corner right now.
Okay. Well, for those of you, I just want to reiterate that, because I hadn't heard that tonight, so it's very important, and that's how we get those resources deployed to certain areas, and it has had the effect that we were able to reduce those K2 incidents here in our downtown area.
We got it, and we're appreciative for the K2. We're trying to work that one chronic area. And I think, Wayne, when you took over your building, you stated that you had 30 people doing heroin the day that you closed on it.
We've been visiting that location for about 2.5 years, and it was a constant drug use, drug distribution.
So none of this is new. It moves. And what we're saying is that it's moved to that corner right now, and we've been calling on it. So we're trying different tactics to get some type of result. So I appreciate what you're saying. We're beyond that, though.
Mr. Chair, I'm through there, if I'm on duty, I'm through there midnight the other night. I'll mark out on 5A, which is the investigative mark out, and I've got third watch and deep night officers that are, when available, driving through there and documenting the times they're through there. And so, we made an effort to address that corner. Now, if you're 100% correct about trash, there was quite a few people hanging out when we first started that. Recently, I have not encountered as many, but there are still some, and we are addressing them on a regular basis.
It's black and milk. On Sunday, there were 3 dozen of them hanging out. And it could have just been the weather, it could have been holidays. and it has reduced. And I don't know if it's the community prosecutor going down there. I don't know if it's Steve Jennings working his lot. I don't know if it's the individuals that own the liquor store.
But I think that we've had some impact on that too.
I know you have.
Because we listened to you, and we've addressed it every meeting we talk about it, and we understand we need to do better, and we're really trying. We're trying to address those issues as you bring them up. And so, we're not there yet, but we're moving in that direction. And we want to be supportive of what your request is.
And I get it, but the thing that's kind of just concerning, we've never had gunshots or shootings down there. We had 3 in 1 month. We've had stabbings before, but not concentrated, and it's all in that same 3 or 4 block area. So the best thing I can do is bring this to your awareness. We call on it. It's kind of hard to catch it in action because they're going to scatter. So that's the best opportunity that we have.
Right. And we're going to, my idea is be citations down there as well, because they're not going to court on the regular citations, so these citations are very useful to us in that instance. And we're going to keep doing that, and we're going to move forward in trying to address those.
Do you have anything? Does anybody have anything?
Well, you take a look.
Okay. All right, well.
I got one question.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get one more in and then we're going to.
Okay,
We'll wrap it up.
Mark Clayton. Mark, have you guys, I'm gonna go again with the Akron and the Akron 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Can you guys kind of talk to those people and try to get shelter for these people? Because I saw the original, I haven't been down there, but once I had to walk over there to the library. Is there any way you guys can encourage them to find shelter or find a home for these people instead of?
Every morning when I say we engage 2,000 people, and we transported, we actually did, bridge caseworkers did assessments on, I think it was 320. We were able to get, I hate to say it, we were able to get 42 that actually went into programs out of 2,000. I don't know if I'm not a social worker, I don't know if that's a good number. But, we're a non-governmental organization. We partner with Bridge and DPD and DART. We're out there engaging these folks. But bottom line is, unless there's an outstanding warrant or something, you can't, city parks, you make a legal park. Corey asked you, I don't know if you're familiar with him, he's been living in Pegasus Plaza for 9 months. DPD transported him to jail today for trespass, following up on a trespass warning. One individual, he's a convicted sex offender in that park. But remember, we've got 7 shelters and 2,200 beds inside the downtown, within a half mile downtown, so it's a tough nut to crack. We're working on it.
The owner of Akron doesn't care, the owner of 7-Eleven on Akron don't care.
Yeah, well, they're franchises, and we've talked to DPD, and we've talked to Southland Corporate, and they're open 24 hours a day. It's interesting, if you track misdemeanor offenses downtown, 30% of downtown misdemeanor offenses are within 1 block of the 9 7-Elevens. So it's a real issue. I wish we had a better partnership with 7-Eleven, but we've reached out to them, but dealing with franchisees is it's a challenge. So I understand what you're dealing with there, and if you're 24 hours a day, we go home at 11 p.m., first watch comes on. It's just tough to, you're not breaking the law by standing there. It's got to be.
How much
Which one?
percentage of crime?
30% of misdemeanor offenses downtown, and this is my data, it's not UPD, are at the 9 7-Eleven stores within about a half block.
And do any of those comply with the single serve?
They do. We were able to, we shut down a couple liquor stores. You're talking about ancient history. For those of y'all that don't know, back 10 years ago, we protested the TABC licenses of a couple liquor stores. One was called Costa One on Elm Street, and then on Irvay, we shut down, what's the name of that one? It was right there, Irvay, and they were selling 3,500 beers a week, but that's many years ago. Now our problem is more K2. The liquor issues are not near as significant as they were 5 or 6 years ago. and craft beer's out there now, so the old, we used to hold them accountable for selling over 6%, but with craft beer, I can tell you, we do spend time with 7-Elevens and Star Liquor to make sure they're not selling the cheap stuff, but they're selling the, what's it called, Crazy Cowboy all day long for $1.50. It's less than 6%. So we really don't enforce it like we used to because it's cases so cheap. But DPD's done such a good job. We've seen, last year we had 10,000 between DFR, DPD, and the state patrol, over 10,000 patron calls. This year, barely 5,000. I'm accumulating, that's 3 agencies, DFR, DPD, and state patrol. So they've done some really good work, narcotics, and CBD also. I wonder where the apartment complex is shut down. That sounds like a big
Just on the other side, just out of our division.
Yeah, that was huge. We're out of time.
Okay, thanks everybody for coming out. Just a reminder, I believe next month's meeting falls on Christmas, so they're not going to meet, see you January. Meet next January.
This is William, hopefully your favorite videographer from Two Hats Publishing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, please leave comments below, or like, follow, or subscribe to us and get notices of all our videos. We love it, even when you call.